and welcome to my channel. I am a traditional woman in a modern world, and on my channel I share tips and tricks, tutorials on how to be a traditional woman, a virtuous woman, and how to step into the woman of God that God has created all of us to be. You will learn how to be more feminine and traditional, how to get rid of self-doubt, and how to really trust and how God has created us to be. This week we are talking about how to be feminine, and some of the tips that I'm about to share on how to be more feminine are things that are not necessarily only about our appearance, but also about our essence and our inner being of being a woman. If you are new to my channel, welcome and thank you so much for clicking on myself, my picture, my icon, the topic, whatever it was that interested you and got you here. So please do click that like and subscribe button so that you can get notified each and every week of new content. And thank you so much to my loyal subbies, my sisters, my friends, my family that reaches out to me on my different social media platforms. So I'm super excited for this topic because last week's topic, or the last topic I did, was a really emotional topic, and it's had me down for a couple of days and things like that. And I just feel like today I just want to be delicate and beautiful and feminine. So that is why I'm also wearing pink. Everything is pink, but not saying that to be feminine you have to wear pink. There was a long time that I actually didn't like the color pink on myself. It's only now as an adult that I'm embracing some of these things. And that's what we're going to talk about, how to be more feminine in the essence of being and not just doing or just making ourselves look feminine, but yet from the inside, we're just as masculine as the world is trying to make us to be. Okay, so there is another thing that I would like us to focus on. Please, can we try get my subscriptions up to like 1,000? Like, I really believe that there are more women out there that feel like me and that are on this journey with me. So please share, definitely share. The more we like, the more my videos can be out there for more people. Let's get the subscriptions up to 1,000 sisters that are viewing with us. I don't know, give me ideas. What kind of things do you want to see on the channel and happen? What kind of things are going to help motivate more people to connect? So definitely in the world that we live in, it's a bit more harsh and hard out here. We always have to be either in survival mode or defensive mode. Well, not always have to be, like it's essential, but the world makes us feel that way, especially as women. Like, with so much negativity that can happen in the world and the hardships that we go through, that can really take away from our femininity, our feminine energy, the womanhood that God has given us since the beginning, that He created us different from men for a reason. And that goes from everything, from the way we think, from our emotions, the activities that women do, the way that we dress, the way that our body language is very different to men. So when we use masculinity to show our power and strength, we can actually feel more drained than anything, because it's in our nature to want to be feminine. But because we've been trained up in this harsh world so much, it seems easier to be masculine, but it's actually more draining for women. Like, it's time consuming, it's energy consuming. So one of the first things we have to do to be more feminine, other than just decide, like some things you just need to decide. If you feel like you need a change in your life, you're feeling like there's something missing, or you're not fulfilling your full purpose as a woman, it may be that you're too masculine. So one of the first things is to decide. And then on this how to be more feminine, the first thing we do need to do is declutter negativity. Get rid of negativity. And for me, what that looked like, which I will talk about in the video as we go along, is also getting rid of toxic people and situations. But closer to home can be social media. I mean, like, I'm on social media right now, and before really thinking about how to be more traditional, I used to consume a lot of social media that focused on, how other women were more beautiful, maybe, the more luxurious lifestyles, the things that I wish I could do, which essentially is making me covet and compare myself to other women. All women are not the same in terms of how we're going to be successful or express being successful. So I've had to like unfollow a lot of pages as well that made me feel like I want these things, but I'm not there right now. And it's impacted me negatively because it's making me covet. And that's comparing ourselves, that's wishing we were other people. So, I'm single and I'm always talking about how I'm single. I must sound so desperate. But there was a time where I literally like started following a whole bunch of like black love and black bridal type of things, and there's nothing wrong with those kind of pages. I'm just saying for myself, at where I am right now, I've chosen to stop following some of those because it's filling my mind too much with being married and and the frustration of it. So that could look like something else for somebody else. It could be maybe your body image right now, you're not where you want to be weight wise, and there's nothing wrong with following people for fitness and getting tips that you actually are using. But when we follow people just to see their bodies or how they look, we tend to compare ourselves. And especially as women, we do that a lot. We want to be warm and inviting, like we want to exude softness. So another thing is also, as women, is to stop gossiping or talking about gossip. That can definitely make us more negative and more hardened, because that's when we get into our competitiveness. I mean, there is this concept that there's healthy competition. I'm not sure if competition is always healthy, especially as being a woman. Like, there's so many things that as women do that is so similar, like because we are created to do what men can't do and not what men can do. So we are all created to, if possible, to nurture, to have motherly instinct and things like that. But when we tend to gossip about other people or compare ourselves, we become competitive about it, and that takes away the femininity in all of it. So number 2 is building confidence. So building confidence can look like a lot of things, and we need to be careful that confidence doesn't build vanity. And the best way to build confidence is seriously to build it through the word of God, because God will teach us women how to be humble. Because it's very easy as a woman to have a chip on your shoulder, to have this I'm better than others, type of air about ourselves. And that is not how we should be. We need to be humble. So by building confidence, we build a safe environment for ourselves. Coming from hard environments and background situations, relationships can really make us as women harden ourselves. So when we build our confidence, we must be careful that we don't build it out of revenge, or we don't build it out of trying to impress others without actually changing ourselves. So this comes with being soft as a woman is really important. And we need to be able to be genuine with our softness. Be kind, be open, be humble. Definitely be humble. Confidence and humility need to be together, because when they're not together, as I mentioned before, living our lives in defense or survival mode. This is also part of confidence building, because a lot of us as women think that confidence is being defensive or offensive or having a very strong personality. And there's nothing wrong with having a strong personality, but when it always makes us respond in a defensive way, it's a problem. Because then we're always causing fights and contention, and we don't give an environment of peace around us where people want to actually be around us. To be feminine and to have confidence as well is not only in ourselves and how we carry ourselves, but how we treat other people. So if you're somebody that is known to have an attitude, you carry your feelings on your shoulders, you have a very heavy personality, it's gonna be hard to be feminine and to recognize moments when femininity is strength, because femininity is not weakness. That is something we really need to understand. To be soft, to be meek as a woman is not weakness, because we are the weaker vessel. We are stepping into how God created us. Looking feminine is useless if you are not radiating it from the inside out. And that is the purpose of why I'm sharing my journey and the things that I've experienced. I mean, I wasn't always like this with makeup and all, the nice clothes and the things that I'm wearing. I've had to really work with what I've had, and where I am in my life now is where God is showing me, all that, those tears and dealing with hardships. He's, I don't know how to explain it. He's more like making me like a butterfly now. I'm in the cocoon butterfly stage. So I think femininity always looks like it's happy and cheerful, and it's really not all the time. Like, we have hard days. It doesn't mean that you don't have hard emotional struggle days. Okay, tip number 3 has to do with our appearance. To be a woman, like to appear like a woman, is definitely one of the first steps as well. Um, Always wearing joggers and slacks and sportswear. That's another thing I've seen that's very trendy now, is for women to wear sportswear. I don't know. Everybody wear what you want to wear. But if you do want to feel more feminine, there is a certain styles that you should gravitate to. And definitely color is one thing we can use as women to adorn ourselves. The Lord says, be modest in our apparel, not with costly array and things. But that doesn't mean that you can't be attractive and beautiful and colorful, you know. It just means don't make that the epitome of your life. That because you have to look good and your personality doesn't match how you look. It's about the inward man. But appearance does matter. I mean, we even have examples of when Esther was becoming a queen, how the king brought all the potential virgins to his palace and his kingdom, and he had them like bath in like myrrh and frankincense, and they were, I would like to say, essentially being pampered for that time before, he would wed the bride. And I feel like that's also a testament of that God likes us women to be feminine, to look feminine, to smell feminine. Even when Abraham's servant met Rebecca for Isaac, he adorned her with jewels. So even as women, wear jewelry. This episode, I happen to not be wearing jewelry, but my mom also always tells me, put earrings on. Earrings help. They make you look more feminine. Neck pieces help, bracelets help. Things that will make you look more flowy. Even the type of dresses you wear. If you're always wearing these tight, constricting bodycon type of things, you're going to look and feel tight, constricting, and like, yes, we want to look snatched, but don't make yourself uncomfortable where even the way you treat others is like harsh, because you just feel like, yeah, beauty, there's that saying that no pain, no gain. Yeah, no pain, no gain, but be practical, and I think that's what God also expects of us women, is to be practical. Tip number 4 on how to be more feminine is to do more feminine activities. It is a fact that being a woman, like, there are certain things that we can do that men cannot do, or that men, not that they shouldn't do, but are more innately for women to do, like cooking and cleaning and things like that. That sounds like basic survival things for everybody. Yes, we should all know how to do that. But when as women we avoid stepping into some of those womanly things we need to do, we actually take away from our femininity. As well as when we try engage in more masculine activities, especially if it has to do with either sports or with how our hobbies are and the things that we do socially, it can really make us be more masculine in a more natural sense, because you're so used to being in that type of activity or environment. For instance, like I enjoy doing like different homemaking things and crafts and tasks. I don't have children right now, so I do have a lot of time on my hands to be able to do a lot of things. So it can look like different things for different people. It can look like baking a cake, or it can look like actually learning how to sew. As women, I think certain skills are important to have. We sometimes tend to work too much on our, what can I say, vocational skills, like the skills our career requires of us, that we lack the domesticated things that women actually do, the things that as women enjoy to do or could actually enjoy to do. Because as being a woman, we are nurturers, as I've explained. We give life as well. We are very creative, like with the things that we do and the way that we handle different tasks within our life in the day, how we manage entertaining our children, how we manage to be able to do homework and cook and do this and that. That is all stepping into femininity. But when we don't enjoy it, it tends to make you more harsh, because now you're operating like in this robot mode, which is, as women, we shouldn't be. We should allow ourselves space and time to be a woman, to do feminine things. Tip number 5 that is very important is to make connections with other women, especially feminine women. We hear all the time, surround yourself with people, successful people, with like minded people, and that's definitely the answer. But sometimes we can surround ourselves with people that are, I wouldn't like to say too career orientated, because I think everybody should be motivated in the things that we all want to do. But when we're not genuine with our sisterhoods, where we're just taking time to be together, to do girly things, there's nothing wrong with being girly, like nothing. To, you know, to laugh with your friends. Women have this ability that when we are together, we have a way of just bonding. Even when you really don't know someone that well, or it's been a long time since you've seen that person, we have a way of bonding with each other, cheering each other up. Not even saying much, can help another woman out. Just being in her space and feeling another woman's energy can really help make us more feminine and bring more positivity and laughter into our lives. Tip number 7, and I think it's the most important tip, and I will also share some bonus advice after this tip, because I will only be sharing 7 tips on how to be more feminine. I think I did number 6. If I'm counting wrong, please do let me know. But this tip is be sensitive. Like, this world is creating us to be these bad beep beep beep. Being a baddie and having this toxic behavior is not cool. Like, there's nothing strength about that, because you're being toxic to other people, therefore you are toxic. Having an attitude is not feminine at all. It doesn't make you look more manly. I mean, it makes you look more manly. It makes you look less womanly. You do not look more independent the more attitude you have. You actually look more selfish, to be very honest. So to be sensitive is to be sensitive to other people's feelings. Be sensitive in the way we respond. We don't always have to respond with aggression or with a response. Sometimes just listen to someone, just for the fact of listening and understanding what they're saying. And we all err with this. I have mistakes with it at times. So femininity really thrives in safety. But if you are an explosive type of personality, emotionally you're not safe. Let's just be honest. When we are damaged and focus more on our damage and try to protect ourselves by making ourselves aggressive and defensive, that is not a safe place to be as a woman, because it makes you always on edge. So to be feminine, we have to understand how to be sensitive, how to be soft, how to be forgiving. Like if we can't forgive ourselves, forgive other people, how's God supposed to forgive us? We really expect him to do that, and we're not doing it to others. Holding grudges, it can be a hard thing. Speaking for myself as well, there are times that you really don't want to let go of things, but you have to, because it will add a burden to us that reflects on us as a woman through the things that we do and say. Men can handle some of these things a little bit better than we can. So, some of the extra advice I'd like to share is I did mention getting out of toxic situations and disconnecting with toxic people. That is going to be so important with having you feel more comfortable to be feminine. Because also, femininity, genuinely caring about others, will also put less focus on ourselves and make it less about self and being self centered. Smiling, physically just smiling all the time also just makes you feel a bit more feminine and better. Stop having these resting bee faces. Like, nobody actually wants to be a resting bee face. Like, who wants to always be having a mad mug? Like, guys, we're not made for that. Shut down immediately aggressive and negative behavior, not by being aggressive and negative yourself. How we do this is once we see a situation has turned more aggressive and a disagreement is turning to be disrespectful, you politely let somebody know, I don't appreciate the way you spoke to me, or you actually just end the conversation. There's nothing wrong with just saying, peace, okay, thank you, just end the conversation. People, you sometimes you don't really need to owe any explanation of why you ended a conversation, because if you know yourself and you know you're an aggressive person and that can go too far, you need to be able to stop yourself before you get to that point. Be flexible, humorous, and less rigid. Sisters, like, really, this whole uppity type of attitude, I don't do this, I don't do that, I don't smile, I don't have fun, I'm too defensive. Like, seriously, I've been talking about it throughout the whole episode. Be more flexible, be more open, have a little bit of sense of humor. Not everything in life is so serious. And don't take yourself so seriously either at all. Because all of us are just but like a blade of grass. All of our righteousness is like dirty rags when it's compared to what righteousness is of Christ. And that's who we essentially want to be like. God has a sense of humor as well. He's not as tight. Yes, he's strict, because he expects us to keep his commandments and things, but he gives us freedom of will within his will for us. Thank you for watching this episode, and I really would love to share more. So this will be session 1 of how to be more feminine. Please do like and subscribe and share my videos so that more sisters can get involved. I love you all, and I love being more positive and less teary-eyed, but I do realize those topics are important.